Hi, I'm Maddie Hockaday, also known as the Anne of this relationship.
And I'm Holly, the Leslie.
We love Parks and Rec. We love behind the scenes.
And we love each other. This is literally the best Parks and Recreation rewatch show.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to a very, 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 very special and exciting version of our podcast today.
I can't
Park Pals.
believe it. Okay, so today we are taking a bit of a break from reviewing our normal episode, and we are going to be sharing with you an interview that we did with Sir Vincent Leslie Jones, who I didn't actually ask him if he likes the Leslie, but he has that on his socials and on his website. So anyway, we talked to Vincent Jones, who did the theme song with Gaby Moreno, and he was so nice and gracious with his time. We are so beyond honored to have been able to talk to him, and he was like so into it, and I'm so excited for everyone to hear it. He
had a lot of great things to share and a lot of insight. So if you kind of want to know how the music industry side of TV and film works, there's quite a few great nuggets in there for this. So
yeah, absolutely. I was really also happy because he said he's going to start listening to the podcast, and he also found it on Apple Podcasts. So that's so exciting for us. We have a new fan. And he seemed so what was I going to say? Humble, because when I said that we were huge fans, he was like, "Oh, you mean of the show, like Parks and Rec?" And I was like, "No, you."
No, you. Yeah.
Well, we already said it, but thank you so much, Vincent, for being on the show. We are so excited. I can't even express how happy we are about it.
Yeah. It's a great time, and hopefully you guys enjoy listening and getting to hear some of what he has to share about his experience overall, but also with Parks and Rec.
Yeah, absolutely. So please enjoy Vincent Jones.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Thank you so much for being here. We really, really, really appreciate it. This is like, you are our first guest, so thank you for being here.
Oh, really?
Yay!
Yes.
But also, we have been doing this for a while now. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but we are such huge fans. Let me just make that a very...
Of Parks and Recreation?
Yes. And you, sir.
And you.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. It's it was like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, old Parks and Recreation.
I know. Well, and it's like The Office, though, where it's on all these streaming services now. So literally everyone from every generation is coming into it. So like new almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I was like, because I haven't watched it for years and years and years. And yesterday I was thinking, I should watch an episode and just, I was thinking about them. And then it was like, I couldn't, like on the streaming platforms I already have signed up for, it wasn't on any of them. It's not on Netflix. It's not on Hulu. So it's gone to Peacock, I guess, right?
Yes. So now and guess what? It was free. It was free for the first 3 seasons, and they've made it so you've got to pay now because they know they've caught on. They know we're watching it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the creative people got to get paid, I guess. But so I was going to do it, and then I just didn't have the wherewithal to go through signing up for yet another thing. Yeah. But I'll get to it. So
no, it's totally okay. No, I bought all the DVDs because I'm a super fan. But also,
you did? They still make DVDs?
I know, right? I had to get an external drive to hook it up because I don't have one in my TV.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so are you in California right now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Where I live.
How's it going over there?
I mean, it's California.
The same?
It's a, sunny day every day, pretty much.
Whereabouts in LA did you, or are you? Because I lived there for 4 years and I miss it every single day.
Well, I'm where, the proletariat musicians end up, which is in, the Valley.
Yeah.
Sherman Oaks.
Okay, cool. I like Sherman Oaks.
Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I'm from the Northwest.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I'm from Vancouver.
Right.
Nice.
And my wife's from Seattle. So, I mean, that is what to me, I mean, California has lots of beautiful things, but the Northwest is a whole different vibe altogether.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
for
I mean,
sure.
it's a rainforest,
I was born in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, you were?
Yes, and I have a lot of family there. So I feel
nice.
that.
Well, I won't hold that against you. I have friends in Portland too. We just drove back from Seattle a few months ago through Portland, through like the worst ice storm I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, geez.
It's like terrifying, coming down the 5, and as you go into Portland, you got all those huge bridges to go across.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to beat the snow out of Seattle because there was a big snowstorm. This was around, when was the last holiday? It was just like about a month ago or 2 months ago. Was there a holiday recently? I'm so bad.
Christmas?
No, it wasn't Christmas. It was definitely after Christmas. It was in
Valentine's Day?
February.
St. Patrick's Day?
God, I don't know when it was. Somewhere around then. It was like about a month and a half ago. Anyways.
Yeah.
We're trying to beat the snow. And, we finally were coming into Portland. And oh my God, like just the freeways are just covered in snow. There's no plows because they can't keep up. It's terrifying.
Did you have a decent car to get through it or not so much?
We have a good car, but we were we're kind of outdoorsy sort of people in some ways. So we had a trailer.
Oh, God.
So we took our travel trailer with us because, our family's there and our parents are, in their 70s, and we didn't, if we stayed anywhere, we'd have to quarantine.
Gotcha.
So we didn't want to do that. So we took our trailer so we could just be completely self-contained.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So we ended up bringing it back, which was insane. And then we wanted to go through, I'd never driven through the redwood forest. We wanted to take the coast. So by the time we got down and we were cutting over to the coast, when we woke up, the freeway had been washed away and the 101 was closed. So we had to turn around and go back the other way. It was crazy.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a mess that you went through.
It was something.
So when I was doing my research on Parks and Rec in general, the theme song of Parks and Rec is much like The Office in the sense where it's one of the most recognizable ones that there ever was in all the land, I feel. And
thank you.
Yeah, I'm serious. And
it's much like The Office, only way better.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you.
You get it.
Look, you said it. You said it. But really, when I was doing the research, I really just wanted to kind of know, like, I wanted to hear the story of how you kind of came to be involved with it and maybe who reached out and like what your inspiration was and that kind of good stuff. So anything you remember, any memories, we're all ears.
So, when I moved, how far back do you want me to go?
Oh my gosh, as far back as
this isn't about me. This is about the theme. Let me remind myself.
No, look, we are interviewing
anything.
you. We want to hear everything.
When I moved I came to Los Angeles, like I said, I'm from Vancouver. And, I was in a band when I was young. You want me to go that far back?
Sure. Well, are you talking about Grapes of Wrath or are you talking about a different one?
No, that one. Do you guys know about
Look at you,
that?
Holly.
I do.
You did your research.
Well, I mean, I've heard of Grapes of Wrath, but I wasn't like a super mega listener. No offense.
Well,
but I actually really love it.
You probably weren't even born when we made our first record.
Okay, that's real. Okay.
It was the late 80s, right?
Okay,
and we were sort of a Beatlesy folk rock band. But when that group ended, I'll just cut to that. I sort of we made our last record with this producer, John Leckie, and we worked at Abbey Road, and he was like a real inspiration to me. And so I just wanted to produce. So, I was producing and engineering stuff, and I was partners with Network, who were our label at the time. I had a small stake in their recording studio. And anyways, I moved to Los Angeles to continue doing that. Mm-hmm. And when I came to Los Angeles, I ended up working with other producers, and early on, a dear friend who sadly and tragically passed away, John O'Brien, who was just so talented. I remember meeting him on a session, and he was like, "What are you doing here? Like doing this engineering and stuff?" He's like, "You should be writing. You should get into like composing and writing and stuff." And at that time, I just didn't want to hear it. All I wanted to do was still make records. There was a record business. So it took many, many years. And finally, years later, I had a friend, Victor Indrizzo, who is a amazing, talented guy and a session drummer. Mm-hmm. And I was in a band with Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode's first band.
Right.
Nice.
Paper Monsters band. Yeah. So I was in a band with Dave, Victor, another dear friend, Martijn Lenoble, great bass player who I've also did a series with, couple of series, and another guy, Knox Chandler. And anyways, Victor called me up and said, I have a friend, Gaby Moreno, and somehow she had a manager and she has been asked to pitch. There's an open pitch for a show. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know what the show was called. And he was like, you would be perfect for it. You should get together with Gaby and do it.
Yeah.
And so at that time I was, I must have been in between places because I was staying at another friend, Jason Orm, who I played in Alanis's band with.
Okay.
The guitarist. Love. So I was literally crashing on his couch in his apartment for like the weekend. Gaby came over with was her boyfriend there? Maybe not. Anyways, Gaby came over with her acoustic guitar, and I had set up like a laptop and a keyboard. Uh-huh. And that was it. We just kind of met, and she had a pitch. Basically, we had a rough cut of an open title, mm-hmm. and with nothing. So it was just, I can't even remember. I don't even think any of the actors were in it, if I remember.
Wow.
It was just the cuts of, the cuts of the park. And,
right.
I can't even remember. I haven't seen the main title for so long. But it gave you the feeling of it. And I remember watching it with her, and and then so Abby had the first 8 bars. Somebody always has to have a start. So she was playing her guitar, and she had she was just humming bop 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 bop, and that was what she had.
Okay.
And so I guess my first go-to was I remember getting the keyboard open and just start programming, and I was just thinking about a parade in a park, and and so that's so the drums started first. So that sort of got it going, and we had those 8 bars, and then I started playing with some plucked strings.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it needed to be longer.
Sure.
So, it just developed, like it modulated,
mm-hmm.
made the movements through some keys from major to minor, and we just extended it. And then once it was done, I think we added a few elements while we were there together. Like, mm-hmm. I think I added because it was all programmed.
Got it.
I added the poppy bass, it's like slap bass.
Right.
A slap bass sample. So just the cheekiest, silliest things.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask about, because I've looked at a couple of your other stuff that you've done, like scoring wise, and it's very plucky and very side note, I don't know if you know this, but the subtitles in the Parks and Rec theme song says triumphant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know where they got that from, but
that's hilarious.
I guess the Caption Max people were like, yo, this sounds triumphant, so we're going to...
That's hilarious.
But that's exactly what it is. And so I was going to ask you, because in the... I think it's in Grownish, where there was it seems almost like a Mediterranean plucky vibe going on.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was kind of wondering if that inspiration is kind of just how you write normally, or is that something that you saw from the theme, like the video theme, and were like, this is cheeky? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's not what I would do normally. I don't. Okay. I mean, I think, it's hard to say what I would do. I mean, I work on a lot of comedy, and I definitely probably have a mind, even if I'm doing sessions for people, I try and I think a lot of good people do, I try and think outside the box somehow. Mm-hmm. And, so when we did that, I mean, how long ago was it now? Has it been 10 years?
It was 2009. So a little over. So
that was quite a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know if there was a lot of that pluck string sound happening at that time. I honestly don't know.
That's true. No, I don't think so. Well, especially in theme songs, I feel.
I don't think so. I think it
not
was
as
just
percussive.
No, I just think it was really cheeky and really quirky, and it just really seemed to suit, and it was honestly, I don't think either of us, you'd have to ask Gaby, but I don't think either of us felt any pressure. I mean, we had literally just met. We spent a few hours together. It was like, whatever. And it just, you're just watching the cuts and you're trying to get the tempo right. And then I just find like if you have to force things too much, it's not working. And it just sort of all fell together.
That is so wild. I can't get over that you like didn't really know Gaby and you just kind of.
I don't think we'd ever met until that day.
Wow.
And yeah, it was crazy. And like I said, I wasn't even in my apartment. I was in Jason's apartment, sleeping on his couch because I was in between places. And the reason I was in between places, I was getting divorced.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Top it all off.
Yeah.
So you wrote a triumphant cheery song in the midst of all that. Good for you.
And you know what? I actually remember thinking, I remember the day coming up and in some ways just kind of dreading it because I just, everything was just so heavy, It
was a snowball.
It was crazy.
Wow.
But anyway, so we write the, so then, and that's not the end of it at all, so we do it together and, we must have done a rough mix at that time. I can't remember, or maybe Gaby left and I finished up the rough mix because, when you do writing sessions with people, they have people, everybody is not there all the time. It's
right.
like, you kind of do your bit and it's like, and once I honestly can't remember. She might have been, she might not have been. It doesn't matter because we just bounced it out and that was that. And it got sent in. And then, there was like 150 something submissions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I found this out after the time because I had never really worked on a series or done anything like that. I'd written some music for some shorts and independent stuff, but I'd never considered doing TV stuff. So it was all new to me. So I didn't know what it meant really. It's just so naive and not paying attention. And so I got a call. I was flying back from Vancouver. I was at the airport. I don't know where. I might have been coming back to LA from Vancouver. Anyways, and I get this call. And it was like, congratulations. Your theme is, it wasn't Greg Daniels. It was, I think it was it Howard Shore?
Mike Shore?
I can't remember.
Michael Shore and Greg Daniels were the two creators.
It was Michael Shore. I'm pretty sure it was Michael Shore.
Yeah.
Congratulations, we've chosen your theme. I'm like, wow,
Dang.
That's amazing. Kind of, I hadn't even thought about it, but I didn't even then really know what it meant. Like I didn't realize what a big deal getting a network theme song was because I'd never really thought about it.
That's probably the best scenario though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's no stakes involved.
No, and now of course I know how difficult it is.
Totally. Well, I was going to ask you, so after Parks and Rec, do you submit to get to these other places or do people know you from their name, from your name?
Well, it's not, I mean, you hopefully somebody will ask. I mean, I've never had somebody say, hey, you did the Parks and Recreation thing. We want you to do our thing. I've never had that. No.
Okay.
Actually, I think I might have had it once, but I was not checking my emails on my website for like a couple of years.
Okay.
And so I responded 2 years too late.
Oh my gosh.
I never heard from the person again.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Missed it.
I'm so bad. So
That's
bad.
so, I mean, obviously I have such tunnel vision for Parks and Rec, but I would think that, someone would hear that and be like, oh, that's so cool. Well, especially, have you kept in touch with Michael Schur or Greg Daniels? Like, have they ever asked you to do anything else? No? Okay.
Never. No.
Wow.
And what happened, actually, there's a whole other story that goes with it.
Oh my God, tell us.
Yeah. So we do the theme and then they're like, we're going to re-record it. And I'm like, perfect. This is my thing, man. Like I'm an engineer and a mixer and I'm going to get some amazing musicians and we're going to go into a studio and we're going to cut this thing. This will be fantastic. Gaby's on the same boat. She's like, great, let's make it amazing. And then they're like, no. We have a guy who's going to do it. I was like, okay. So this guy, I honestly can't even remember his name. I don't remember his name. Calls me up. He's like, I'm going to do NBC's hired me to do the theme. So I'm going to do a takedown, which is, charted out. Mm-hmm. We're going to get the musicians in. We're going to knock it out. We'll be in and out before the coffee cools in the cup. I'm like, okay. But the whole time I know enough about musicians and I know enough about, string players and wind players and stuff that this is going to be very tricky to play because it's very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go to the studio. This guy books it, and I actually offer to send the parts. I'm like, I'll send you the charts. No, got it. Okay. So we go into the studio and Greg Daniels is there, and Michael Shore, and some people from NBC, and the guy who's conducting and the musicians are there. And it is a train wreck. It's an absolute train wreck. So they start trying to play it, and the drums are like, everything is wrong.
Oh no!
The drums all off, because the thing is it's what gives it that thing is that it is programmed.
Yeah.
That's what gives it the feel. Once you get a live drummer trying to do that, it's just it just didn't work. So starting with the drums, it was a disaster. And they had fine musicians. The piano player was incredible. Like, they asked me to play piano, and I was like, no, I'm gonna just watch what happens. So we're like, I'm talking dozens and dozens of takes in. We are so far into this thing, and Greg Daniels and Michael Schur, they're looking at me, they're like, what is going on? What are we going to do? And I'm just like, I can fix it. Just let me fix it. I'll fix it. So we go through this whole recording session. Really, I was just like, wow. Kind of a rough vibe for the guy who, was going to do a takedown and do it all in,
right.
before the coffee cools in the cup. I was like, wow.
Right. That works for the studio. And it's probably, oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, he was an independent contractor or whatever. But, and also at this point, like, I've played on, 10 years ago, I'd already worked on dozens and dozens and dozens of records in my life, so. And as had Gaby. Gaby is very experienced and incredibly talented musician. So
I love her music too.
Oh, she's fantastic. Yeah.
That is so wild. Okay.
So we leave the session. I remember that the person who played I think she played the oboe or the clarinet. She was the best. And we got her to double the part really well. The strings, I'm sure they were great. I don't know who the players were, but it just never came together. It's hard to do.
Yeah, it's fast.
And on the first take too.
Oh, well, even on the 27th take.
Yeah.
But anyways, they didn't know what they were in for, I don't think, unfortunately. And it just didn't suit what it was, and I always knew that, I always felt like, and I'm sure Gaby did as well, that what gives the thing this charm is that it is all programmed and it's all fake. And it's not like the best sample libraries. Like, it's the sound it's like a Logic instrument sound, and it's like actual Yamaha keyboard sounds. Like, they're not the best,
Right.
That's what gives it its attraction. So anyways, I took it away. They put me in a studio.
Did that session end like without anything solved? Essentially? Yeah,
that session ended where we took our takes and we left.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it ended.
Okay.
Yeah. And at that time, because, I was so green at that time that, you want to get your name on these contracts so you can get residuals. So I said no to playing piano. So, I don't get a residual as far as being a musician's concerned, because I didn't play on the session. I did play on the session, but I played on it as a work for hire composer, and it's a different thing. Anyways, I took it away. I remixed it from the headphones through some speakers. I think that there's some real oboe or clarinet. I can't remember which instrument that I was able to tuck in underneath to give it a little bit of life. Yeah. And that was it. That's what you hear. It's our demo.
So if you don't mind my asking, so does that mean that you are just like, you just had a flat fee kind of thing that they gave you, and then you were I'm done with it? Okay.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Wow.
That's they're work for hire gigs. Yep. So Gaby and I got a fee to write a theme. Sure. And that was it.
So do you play on any of your other scores now?
Well, this is the thing. I play pretty much everything on everything. When I do a show, or even like if I've done some feature documentaries or whatever, because I'm a multi-instrumentalist, sounds fancy, but I get it. Yeah.
You have to be, I feel, if you're scoring.
Yeah, so I literally usually play everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's so
whether
fascinating.
It's programmed or played, obviously we own our writer's share and we receive our writer's income,
Sure.
It's played around the world. But anyways, okay. So enough of that.
Okay. Well, I was going to, okay. You said you had videos, but you didn't have any sort of like tone for
we
the
might
show,
have had,
right? Or did you?
I can't remember. I mean, it was just, no, there was music on the picture.
Oh, really?
It had some music on it, but it was nothing like what we did.
Okay.
Yeah. Wonder if I have it. I still have the main session that we did somewhere.
What?
Wow.
Oh yeah, I still have it.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's basically what you hear. It's basically what you hear on TV, but if you listen to the tracking sessions, whew.
Oh my God. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that session.
Right?
For a brief moment anyway.
Yeah.
Well, if you come to Los Angeles, let me know.
Oh my God.
That would be awesome.
We will be. Okay.
Because I've never gone back and listened to it just because, it is what it is. Oh, actually I did. I tell a lie. I had to go back and listen to it once because they had a thing about 5 years ago where they did a best TV themes ever night. And it was a big thing that they put on in a hall. Was it at USC? And basically they had a small orchestra, a 50-piece orchestra, play TV themes.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome.
So I had to go back into Parks and Rec and get it because they fully orchestrated the theme and then a little orchestra played it.
Was it good with the orchestra?
It was pretty good. Yeah,
Okay,
it was pretty
I was
good.
gonna ask.
Those are real instruments. I wonder if they played it fast enough.
They were real. Well, I mean, there's definitely, they had some very good musicians there.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
That's so great. Yeah, I try to go back to LA once a year, but I just miss it so much. But I obviously couldn't go last year, so I don't know if this year's going to work
isn't it
either,
brutal?
But...
How's things?
Yeah.
You guys are in Nashville?
I'm in Nashville. Maddie's in Arizona.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Arizona?
Prescott, Arizona.
Where's that?
It's like in the middle of Flagstaff and Phoenix, up in the mountains. Yeah.
Well, Maddie,
Nice.
did you have any other questions for Vincent?
I did have a question because when you said that someone else was going to take over in the studio for you, I don't know if Holly told you, but we're both musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And
really?
So we actually met at Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Oh, really? Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
All of my I've had a few interns, not all of them. 2 of them have been from Berklee.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, I was on that what's it called? Experiential learning thing or whatever.
Yeah, they have internships where it's like Berklee partners with composers
That's right.
and whoever in
So
LA.
I've got a couple of those. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
you
really
guys
cool.
met in Berklee.
Yes.
Yes, we lived together there, and I know Holly and I have both written music, and we've both done studio sessions for our own music, and I can't imagine putting someone else in charge of my baby, my music. So how was that, walking in and having this guy with such pride and gusto?
Well, I didn't. I don't I'm not super precious about anything.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, that gets easier with age. But I've done so many different things. I've done things. I've been told that what I've played is garbage. I've been told what I play is great. So it's some things work, some things don't work. It's if I'm trying to come up with harmonies and you're going fishing, and it can just be squawking.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me. So I wasn't. Let me try and answer this. I remember thinking to myself, basically, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. You think you're going to be out before the coffee cools? Okay. Because I knew, like I said earlier, I knew that even though it sounds, very, I don't even It sounds pretty simple.
Yeah.
But it,
Fast.
That's so cool.
It's pretty fast, right?
yeah.
And so when you get all of those strings all doing it, but it's I knew it was going to be hard to do.
I like what you said though about a parade kind of thing, because that totally is what it feels
like. It was like a summer parade in the park.
Yeah, well, is that all you kind of had was the name of Parks and Rec? Did you have anything about what the show was either? I mean, obviously we talked about tone, but yeah.
I can't remember. Gabby might remember. I mean, and I can't even remember the music that was in there. It was like it worked. They always put something that works, but it wasn't what we did.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
always
thank God they took that out.
Oh yeah. No, that was never going to stick. So that was always the hard part, you know. Well, it is always the hard part. It's always the same, writing to picture. And it's like every composer, anybody who writes music will say the same thing. You know, once you get something and it's a blank screen and there's some images playing and you're just like, I do not know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Interesting.
And everybody says it. Like you can watch master classes from Hans Zimmer to whoever. It doesn't matter how experienced they are. They all say the same. And I think that's just the creative process, right? It's like, I know, I'm sure you guys know this too. It's like, I know that I've done a good job if I've thought that I'm great and that I'm terrible about 5 times, then I know that it's probably going to be okay.
Right.
Right.
You gotta
You know what
balance
I mean?
it
It's
out.
like, man, this is great. This is really good. Oh God, this is terrible. You know, and then it's like, okay, this is working. This is really good. This sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is pretty good. Okay, I should just quit. You know?
Every artist has that.
It's always the same. So did I answer that question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, it just sounds like he's
Sounds
arrogant.
like it.
No, he was totally arrogant. I mean, when he played guitar in the session, and when he played guitar, because he was out in the control room, he turned his back to the studio like this and played the guitar. He wouldn't even look. Yeah, he wouldn't even look at us.
Dang.
Atlanta, why?
yeah.
Who do these people think they are?
You know what? I couldn't tell you the guy's name. I don't know who he is.
Well, not worth it.
And I know he did send me a message afterwards, you know, saying, "Oh, it was so great. You know, congratulations on the show because the show aired and got picked up and did well."
Yeah.
Right.
Get out of here.
I don't even think I responded. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you see the charts he wrote? Did they like look accurate?
No, there were some things that were wrong.
Yeah.
You know, just like silly things. I can't remember what, but there was like a couple of weird little flubby things.
Yeah.
It's not that different. What do you guys play, or do you sing?
Both.
Did you guys actually learn how to play the theme?
No, we haven't even tried.
I've tried. I'm a violinist. That's my primary instrument. So I have definitely played over the theme song before. And I went through a huge phase where I was trying to play literally, like I would sit there and watch Pirates of the Caribbean and try to play over the score. But yeah, like when you were talking about how keeping the strings together, like this, like getting violins, like you can be a good musician, but if it's fast and it's hard,
it's
like
very
having
difficult.
everybody sound like they're playing at the same time. Oh my gosh. That's why I love Harry Potter theme so much, because it's so fast and it's so many strings, and it's like, so I understand how they weren't able to get it, because it's hard.
And a conductor plays a huge part.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, when you're playing with a conductor actually has to conduct ahead.
Right.
So if you're playing, like, you know, if you're like if I'm accompanying, like for instance, playing with Sarah, like I can't watch a conductor, because a conductor is ahead of where I am, so the orchestra can be pulled up and be in time. And then it depends on your first chair, you know, who's leading, you know, the sections. So there's a whole lot going on. But I mean, there's definitely, that's why all these film scores get made in LA, because the musicians are insane. Right. They pull it off.
Yeah. That was my dream for like half a second.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah, because I did
could be.
Yeah, I did some film scoring like work in not as the film scorer, but playing in film scoring sessions in college. And cool. I was like, this is like one of the coolest things ever, because then you get to watch the scenes back, and it's like it's a cool experience. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How I was going to ask, how long did it take for you to submit those orchestrations? Or I guess my question is, how long did it take for you to see the actual airing of the show, or like once that remix was done?
I think it was like a few months.
Okay.
It wasn't that long, and then I was actually kind of excited to watch the pilot. Like the day of the pilot's coming up, I was at my friend's house because I was still homeless. I was living with a different friend. And he's having a barbecue, and he's got some other friend who's over there who will not stop talking. And I'm like, could you just please shut up? So the pilot airs. I couldn't hear it.
No.
The pilot
it's my moment.
The pilot aired. And I just remember being in the kitchen. I'm like, I give up. I'm not even going to watch because they wouldn't stop talking.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
That's so
though.
frustrating.
You're like, this is my one time.
Like, this is my jam.
Well, did you ever get to talk to anybody from the show at all besides those guys?
You know, I met Amy once at a party. But, you know, again, I was so green to the whole thing that I didn't even attempt to do it. Like, it wasn't even in my radar that, you know, maybe you could get some more work. Maybe you could do the music in the show. Like, I just didn't even consider it.
Right.
You know, I just did that. And then I was off, I was still working on records and doing sessions and touring, and I was still doing my own thing. I still hadn't considered trying to pursue it, really.
Right. And is that something that you are still doing, or something that you miss, being with the band and touring?
No, I don't miss it.
Okay.
No, I mean, you know, I worked with Sarah McLaughlin for many, many years.
Yes, I love that you did that.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
So I've been, I guess, you know, her MD for many, many years. And so I did all the little affairs with her.
Oh, amazing.
You know, played with, I mean, it's insane. I mean, I've played piano for Judy Collins, you know, I've jammed with Bonnie Raitt. That's like insane, you know.
Yeah.
I had so many great experiences with that. And Sarah is just, man, she's just one of the best. One of the best ever.
Well, and that all ties back to Parks and Rec, because Amy Poehler's character, Leslie, listens to Sarah McLaughlin to get like pumped up.
Hype up music.
Which is like the audience is like, what? Why? Because
and I don't even, you know, I mean, nobody would even make that connection, you know, like Amy wouldn't know that I worked with Sarah, because I wouldn't, I wouldn't meet her and say, hey, I work with, you know.
Sure.
I just wouldn't do that.
That's so wild, though. Well, so was there like a time in your life or in your career when you said, okay, I want to focus on scores now and not so much with the band?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, the band was over for me, you know, like in the 90s. I mean, you know, I quit playing in a band in the 90s. I remember I quit playing in a band. I'm like, I am never doing this again in my life. I am never joining another band, and I've never joined another band.
Was there something that sparked that?
Yeah, it's called, you know, argumentative young men.
Yep. Okay, fair. That's all I needed to hear.
Fair point.
You know, we'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha.
You know, you put a bunch of young men together in a bus and fill it with, you know, over exuberant, you know, egos, ideas, you know, you mix in some drinking, you mix in a lot of sleepless nights, and, you know, it's
not a great recipe.
It can be crazy.
Were you writing a lot as well with that band, like lyrically and musically?
No.
Or okay.
No. Not lyrically, really. But, you know, we all worked on the music together. They had the main songwriters, as usually goes in a band. Somebody brings in a song, you know, formed to whatever level, and everybody chips in. And, you know, you try and be a band.
Sure. Do you still talk to those guys?
I haven't, not for not wanting to. It's just, you just drift apart, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I bumped into one. I was actually in Toronto. There's a producer, Mark Howard, who I worked on some records with, who had worked with worked with Daniel Lanois for years. Anyways, I was in Toronto a few years ago helping him. He had cancer, and he was doing a benefit for a cancer society up there in Toronto. So I flew up to help MD the band. And I was walking down Queen Street, and literally the bass player, one of the main singers from the Grapes of Wrath, came out of a Donair shop or something and bumped into me. And I'm like, Tom?
What?
And he didn't know. Oh, yeah. And I literally hadn't seen this guy in 15 years probably. And I literally bumped into him. Yeah, totally random, right? And he didn't recognize me at first, because I think the last time he saw me, I might have had hair. I mean, it's been a long time.
He's like, who is this person?
So, you know, those guys, I just, you know, I don't know what they're doing. They're still doing some music. They've made some records, and, you know, it was a great, you know, looking back, there was a lot of great experiences, and, you know, learned how to make records with those guys.
That's crazy. Well, so I also saw that you played on The Tonight Show with a few people. Can I ask about that and who you played with on that?
Well, I've done all of those shows over time. I mean, you know, I've done, you know, every show with Sarah for sure.
Okay.
And then, you know, and then shows with Alanis.
Okay.
I played with Alanis Morissette, was in her band.
But if Sarah and Alanis asked you to play something or go on tour with them, would you say no?
Well, Alanis, I have another friend here. His name is Mike Farrell. He's a keyboard player and an MD and a super talented guy. And he now plays with Alanis. So Alanis won't be asking me. They've asked me to sub, and I've done that occasionally. But I have a 7-year-old daughter, and I'm very busy, or I have been very busy scoring. Sure. And I prefer to just do that. Yeah,
so, and you're so good at it, so.
Oh, thank you. So if Sarah, I would do whatever I can to do anything with Sarah because she's like family to me.
Oh, that's great.
Like the last time she went on tour, I took my 13-year-old son, well, he was 11 then, I guess, and we did 2 weeks with a symphony orchestra at a different symphony each time. And we did a tour. Wow. That was amazing. So and I had my son, so I would definitely do that again. But when my daughter was born, which was about 7 years ago, would be my last tour that I ever did. And I tried to do it with Sarah, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. And so had my friend Michael, the keyboard player who I was talking about, he came and filled in and finished up that tour. And then I haven't done it since. So. Okay.
Well, what are you working now? What can we tell people to look out for?
I just started doing, a 4th season of Grownish. I just started.
Okay.
And then there's going to be another season of F is for Family coming up.
Love that.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah. And then, I did another Kenya Barris show, Rashida Jones, hashtag Black AF.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if there's going to be
what a little world you're building here.
I know.
Rashida is in Parks and Rec.
I know. And you know what? I don't think she would never put those two together because, I'm so down the line with music.
She might. Her dad is Quincy, so maybe she listens to the music. I don't know.
She would probably listen to it with the music's probably more important to Kenya, but
fair.
Who knows? She could say, they could listen to it and say it sounds like TV music. I don't know.
How is it working with Kenya? I'm so fascinated by her.
Kenya?
Or him. Sorry, him.
Him. Yeah.
I've listened to the podcast. Yes. Him.
How I met Kenya was I got a call. Do you want me to be long-winded with this? Or is your time up?
No, my time's not up.
Oh. So I got a call from a friend who is a music editor who works with me on F is for Family. And his wife is an editor. Well, she's a producer as well. Super talented woman, Jamie Nelson. Mm-hmm. And she was Kenya's right-hand person.
Okay.
As far as putting these shows together. And they were starting Grownish. And I guess when I went in to meet him, he was talking about a movie, Submarine. Do you know this movie, Submarine?
No.
You got to watch it. It's a Richard Ayoade film. You know who Richard Ayoade is?
I'm gonna write that down. No.
Oh, you got to get some Richard Ayoade in your life.
Okay.
You ever watch The Mighty Boosh?
No.
Oh, okay. So Richard Ayoade has a series called Richard Ayoade has a series called Travel Man.
Okay, Travel Man.
Anyways, the movie's called Submarine. Anyways.
Got it.
So Kenya, I don't know. Kenya is a very smart, creative person, obviously, as you can tell. I don't claim to know the man very well. It's just the moments that I've spent with him. He knows what's going on. He knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. So he had thought for Grownish. I got this call and they asked, "Do you have any indie film music score?" Which was, indie film music.
Yeah.
Like light strings and quirky stuff. And I just happened to, because I like to do that stuff. And so I sent a whole bunch of cues over to Jamie. I was like, well, when do you need it? She's like now. That's how it goes here, by the way. They want it now. So I sent it over to her like late afternoon. It was like 6:00 the same night. I get this call from her. She goes, Kenya wants to hire you.
Dang.
Wants you to do the show. And that was it.
That is
Next day I went down and met him. He was so nice. He was like, I love your music. They had my temp put in the show. It fit perfectly. There was another guy, Michael. God, why do I forget his last name now? We call him Baby Boy. And he does, he had been hired and he writes trap music.
Okay, sure.
That kind of downbeat trap stuff that's in the show, he had been doing.
Very electronic, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but Kenya didn't see it as a full score to carry the whole show, and I think he was totally right. It works great. So I really like Kenya. And then, when I got a call from another mutual friend, Gabe Hilfer, who's a music supervisor, super talented guy. And I'm just lucky when I get these calls because there's so many talented people in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these people have they've got the pick of them all,
Yeah.
Like there's so I'm always grateful when it works out,
I was just going to ask, do you feel like you've made connections that have led to more opportunities?
Are you in your closet, by the way?
I am. It's
That's
for the
awesome.
best. I don't have a studio set up in my house yet, so I'm using my jackets and my sweatshirts.
Look, we got to do what we got to do over here, okay?
Yeah.
I hear you. I was like, are you hiding from your kids or something? You're like the stack of Easter eggs is like just over the shoulder so you can eat them before Easter.
Right.
Sunday. Yeah.
Totally.
That's where my wife I know all my wife's hiding places now, and they're generally in her closet.
Yeah. Like with the Halloween candy or something.
Oh yeah.
Right.
She actually forgot the other day where the gummies were. I'm like, I know where those are. So sorry, what was the question again?
I was just wondering if you feel like
connections.
Yeah.
I think now, some, but because I didn't start off in this business,
mm-hmm.
so I don't have a lifetime of it. I started off in the music and record business, and all my connections and all through my life up until, in my 30s were all in that business, and that business just kind of went away. Mm-hmm. So this was like, starting from scratch.
Mm.
Was that tough?
Yeah, still is tough for sure. I rely on my agent, Patty, who I really love. She sends things my way, and you just, you're always sending submissions out for things, if there's interest, and you generally don't get a reply, and you just, hope something clicks with somebody,
Right. Yeah, totally. Do you have to be a part of a union as a composer?
Well, I'm a part of the musicians union.
Oh, okay.
Because I play, but you don't have to be a part of a union to be a composer. No.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Cool.
No, because they're all work for hire. So, but since I play on sessions and stuff, I've been a union member forever.
Gotcha. Was Grapes of Wrath like your first intro to like mixing and engineering studio work, or okay, got it.
I mean, when I was a kid, I had a band with somebody and I was the singer, and we had 4 tracks and we made recordings and all that stuff.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I was always obsessed with music. I mean, it was like, I always say like my uncle Alan, who's about 4 years older than me or something. Because I was born in England.
Okay.
And he was in England. So it was like, when I heard Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, that was like it for me. Like, I still remember buying that on cassette.
Wow.
So I was always, and I was young. I was like, I would have been, I don't know, 10 or something.
Gotcha. Okay. So how did you like meet the Grapes of Wrath fellows?
Through an ad in the paper.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah. Just random. The Georgia Strait, which would be the same as like the Recycler or Music Connection or whatever.
And this was in Canada?
This was in Vancouver. Yeah.
Okay.
And we just hit it off. It's like anybody, if you're personable and I get along with most people anyway. So
yeah,
I can find some common ground. We had common ground. We loved the same music, and it just kind of fit. So what do you guys do for music then? What kind of music do you do? Are you guys like singer-songwriters then?
I'll let Maddie answer first.
Okay.
Song or sing writers?
So primarily through my life, I've been in like symphonies and orchestras and whatnot. And when I got to Berkeley, I was like, I really like singing, and I sang mostly like folk and jazz. So I did some singer-songwriter stuff, released an album while I was at school there. And yeah, I'm still writing music, not as much as I would like to be, but I'm doing that, and I'm teaching violin right now.
And she's an amazing music therapist. She's in music therapy.
That is
she's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Actually, my friend Jay, who was my first assistant from Berkeley here, his wife is a music therapist.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a growing profession for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I have no idea what it is you do, but the sound of music and therapy, they sound like they should live together.
Yeah. It's fascinating to me. And I work primarily with kids with autism. That's kind of my specialty.
That's gotta be a challenge.
Yeah. But I love them. And like, it's been so cool to learn what happens in the brain when music is used and how we can like manipulate the brain with music. And because music is the only thing we do as humans that lights up the entire brain at the same time.
Oh, really?
So,
that's amazing.
Right. So it's cool to be able to use it as a healing tool.
That's incredible. I know. Well, my wife's a math and science teacher. So my 7-year-old daughter is like, every answer leads to another question.
Yep.
Yeah. We have the same kind of like feel, I guess. I do country. That's why I'm in Nashville. A lot of folksy kind of stuff.
So what kind of country? Like real country?
Yes, not the bro country, as I guess we could say. Yes. Sorry. But
bro
no,
country.
my biggest influences are like Fleetwood Mac. And I mean, I also like incorporate pop too. I'm weary to say pop country, but that is definitely, what happens. And then, Tom Petty and Death Cab for Cutie are probably my top two people. And Jody Messina.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, we played a Fleetwood Mac song in college, and Maddie played the violin on it. And
Which one?
Awesome. Songbird.
Oh yeah,
we love.
I got to spend the night with Stevie Nicks.
What?
Yeah, it was quite something. Well, because
I spend the night.
I mean, an evening. Sorry, let me say that again. God, could you imagine? Oh, yeah.
This is a weird thing to be sharing.
It is.
An evening.
Was it a long time ago or recently or what?
It's so funny. Did you play with her?
No.
Okay.
I did not play with her, nor did I spend the night with her. This is euphemistically speaking. So my friend Martine, we scored Up All Night together.
Okay.
The show Up All Night for NBC.
Yeah.
And this was many years ago, and she sang in the show.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so she was at the studio, which at that time we were working at Martine's house. And, we spent the evening afterwards sitting on the couch and having some food and her regaling us with stories. It was pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But that Up All Night didn't get picked up, right?
It did a season and a half. That's right.
Okay. I know. Yeah, I remember it.
That was quite a while ago. Yeah. Well, I'd like to hear your guys' music.
Okay, we'll send it to you. I'll email it to you.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm thinking about Nashville. Do you know Butterfly Boucher?
No.
Have you heard her name?
No.
I guess there's a lot of people live in Nashville, huh?
Oh my, there's so many people. Every time I say I'm in Nashville, somebody asks me if I know somebody, and I'm like, nope.
Do you know Zoe Jordan?
That name sounds really familiar, but I'm not familiar.
Do you know Jeff Trott?
Nope. Jeff Trott.
Jeff
I'm writing down all these people.
Jeff Trott has co-written all of Sheryl Crow's biggest songs.
Wow.
He moved to Nashville from here a few years back.
I'm sure Nashville people listening to this are like, how do you not know that person?
There's a lot of people that live in Nashville.
Oh yeah, tons of writers, of composers.
Obviously, a lot of people who've moved there from here.
Oh yeah, that was me. I mean, I was in LA for a long time and then moved here.
Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Virginia, but then after college, I went to LA, lived there for about almost 5 years, and then moved here because I was doing acting out there, and then music kept coming up, and I was like, I should probably follow the first love, and then so I moved here because I knew people that could help me with my record, which, by the way, the person who did our theme song, his name is Sean Trainer, and he says hi. He's a big fan as well.
Yes.
Nice. You know what? I went to listen to your podcast, and why couldn't I listen to because it's on Apple.
Wait, it's free though.
Is it?
Yeah, it's free.
This is really embarrassing.
I'll send you a link.
I just searched Parks and Rec when I was looking on podcasts.
Yeah, we're not famous enough yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't track that. So I wasn't about to subscribe to another. But now I found it. I should have done some due diligence. We should do this all again next week after I listen.
Dude, I am so there.
I didn't realize that you had a theme song.
Yes. Yeah. And he took it very similarly from, you and Gaby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's really cool. So you'll have to listen and tell us what you think.
I will.
Yeah.
So you haven't made it to Little Sebastian yet?
No. Wait, what were you think? Are you what? Do you want to be
nothing? A Little Sebastian.
Oh, okay.
I love that one, right?
It's so good.
Johnny Karate, so good.
Oh, well, do you know Mark Rivers at all? Do you know that name?
I know the name. Didn't he do some music on it?
He did all of Andy's band songs. So he wrote Bye Bye Lil Sebastian. Chris Pratt did some of them, like just randomly, like messing around.
Yeah, I would have loved to have done that stuff.
I know. Yeah, well, hopefully you can be friends.
It just never ever occurred to me to even ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm standing there with Jeff Daniels. I never even thought to say, hey, I could write more music.
Greg Daniels, Vincent. His name is Greg Daniels, not
Greg
Jeff.
Daniels. What did I call him, Jeff? No, but seriously, this one is the worst. Like I said earlier, like I got an email from one of the producers on the show that said, I love that theme. I want you to write a theme for my new show. But I literally hadn't checked my email it was at least 2 years. Yeah. Could have been more.
Well, so now you don't do that, right?
Well, I still do it. Not to 2 years.
Okay.
It can be weeks or months sometimes, but like my agent had me do a new website a few years ago, and I literally have not updated it since I did it.
I like your website. That's how I found a lot of it.
I'm uncomfortable with that stuff.
No, I get it. A lot of musicians are, like the promotion and all that mess, but it's just think of it as your resume. That's all it is.
I guess.
I'm so bad at it.
It's terrible.
Well, so do you watch the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Who do you think that you resonate the most with character-wise?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Ron Swanson was a classic. They're also classic.
So good.
Okay.
Andy was a classic.
Because the reason I asked that is because I think that's going to be a new thing that I do with every guest, because I'm the Leslie of it and Madi is such an Ann, and we both carry qualities of both of them, but so I really want to know what everyone else resonates with.
I also loved oh God, what was his name? John Ralphio.
Oh, love Ben Schwartz.
So good.
So ridiculous.
Yes.
He sings everything. It's so good.
Oh my God. No, I was talking to my wife the other day. We got to watch it again. There's just so many funny things. What was the one? Andy was like trying to put a nail in the wall, and he like puts the hammer through. Yeah, he smashes himself in the head, right? And then doesn't he put it through the wall?
Yeah, He's trying to hang his gold record.
That's right. Was that part of the Johnny Karate one?
Mm-mm. No, I think that's for Catch Your Dreams? Is that what the gold record is for, or was it for Bye Bye Lil Sebastian?
I don't even know, truthfully. It was just for the Mouse Rat gold record. It was like over 100 copies sold or whatever, Pawnee or something. Right. No, are you starting to open things back up, Vincent, at all in LA? Like, how's it going over there with COVID?
I mean, it doesn't feel like it ever shut. I mean, it shut down. You couldn't go. There was no restaurants and stuff, and the gyms were closed. But I mean, if I would go out or take a walk, I mean, the basketball courts and the courts have been full of unmasked people since the beginning. So, there was a brief moment where it seemed to, but I don't know what the numbers are doing here now. Are they going back up again? California was doing.
No, it seems like there's definitely a decrease, like nationwide, with the vaccines coming out. So I think that we're on the up and up, or down and down, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm going to go back up to Canada in a bit, but Canada's not, I mean, they're way behind the US in vaccinations.
Did it not spread as much there though? Like they took it more seriously, right?
Oh, they took it. Oh yeah. And it's hard getting in, you have to be a Canadian citizen to get in. And then you have to quarantine. You have to get a negative test before you go. You have to land and go into quarantine until you get the results of a test. There's a lot of things, but
do you ever think about moving back there, or did you think about it during the midst of all this?
All the time.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. But Vancouver is too expensive. It's very expensive now, and my work is down here.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a lot of. I mean, Canada's a great country.
Yeah.
But the U.S. is an amazing country as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do you have to go were you going into studios and things before, or do you primarily do everything in your studio?
Now, I mean, we used to go as far as working on shows, like the spotting sessions, we used to do it in person every week or whatever. So like last year, before the pandemic, there was a point I was doing 4 shows. I did a show called We Are the Champions, which was on Netflix, which is great, by the way.
Wait, that's the one with Mindy Kaling, right?
No.
Oh, maybe that one's just called Champions.
That's called Champions, which I actually submitted for that theme and went and met those guys. Those people were great.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't get it, so, awesome.
But still.
Boo-hoo. But yeah.
It's one of those things, it's like you have to convince yourself that like just meeting people is like
great.
a good thing.
Oh, it's an amazing thing, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So, no, I did a Netflix documentary series. It's called We Are the Champions.
Okay.
And it's about strange competitive events. Like the first episode is about a cheese rolling competition in England where they chase a brick of cheese down Cooper's Hill. It's amazing.
Wow.
There's frog jumping, there's dog dancing, there's hairdressing. You guys should check it out.
Okay, oh my gosh, I want to do that.
Yeah, it's really good. Cool. So it's called We Are the Champions. So I was doing that. Black AF, F is for Family, and Grownish. And they all came together at the same time, which was crazy.
Busy.
So super busy. And then COVID hit. And I was finishing up one of them because a couple naturally stopped. And then we had this month off or 6 weeks, or 2 weeks to stop the spread, that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is great having a break. And then a break went into another month and another month and another month and another month. And then the shows aren't coming back and we can't shoot. And you're just like, oh my God. And it was like 8 months or something, 9 months with no production. So,
wow.
I did
now
some
you're
other
getting
things
back into it?
Yeah, now they've started shooting again. But I did some other interesting things. Like I worked on a Jerry Cantrell record, which was interesting, from Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really.
Well, that's a far different thing than what you were doing.
But that's like doing sessions as a keyboard player.
Yeah. Playing all kinds of stuff.
We actually did an Elton John cover together. I arranged some strings and
fun.
And he is, not that I'm surprised, but just the nicest guy.
Right.
Super talented,
Yeah. Well, did you have any inspirations like that makes your music what it is? Like, who are your people that you were like, I want to sound like them, when you were younger?
Oh, well, it's stuff that probably well, maybe you would catch it from it. I mean, I was obsessed with David Bowie.
Okay. Okay.
So anything that went from David Bowie, like whether it be Mott the Hoople, Lou Reed, Transformer era Lou Reed, and then of course the Beatles, John Lennon, because he worked anything that touched David Bowie or came into contact with, I was into it. And so
nice.
a lot of his stuff was like some, there's a lot of old, like Anthony Newley and old school British show tunes, and you would always hear lots of like these kind of changes, which you can hear in Parks and Rec,
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All those kind of changes are going,
totally.
Thirds going major to minor, jumping out of keys. I mean, you definitely hear that, all through Bowie's music.
Yeah.
Those kind of odd changes are probably, well, they're not even odd really, but that sound is probably in my DNA. I like that a lot.
Okay, cool.
I was always into, of course I love film composers.
Which ones?
Well, I was always a huge fan of Bernard Herrmann. Who did Psycho.
What did he do? Oh, yeah. Hello.
Hitchcock films. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Like just the strangest, most amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And then of course, John Williams was incredible.
Of course.
Like he just like the master, unbeatable. I can't remember his name now, but the guy who did Amelie.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar. I don't know that dude. I mean, I'm familiar with the movie.
Yeah, he's just incredible. Desplat, amazing.
Yes.
Mark Mothersbaugh, amazing. Danny Elfman, like just forget it. And all their early stuff, just incredible.
Okay, my brother told me about this, and I didn't know this until like literally 2 months ago, and he told me that Danny Elfman, who like I love too, and my brother loves him, but he says that he doesn't know how to read or write music. Did you know that?
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Apparently he'll go in and he has somebody who transcribes it for him.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure he can read, and I'm pretty. You know what? I'm pretty sure that Danny can score.
Yeah.
I'm because he did. Have you heard of Masterclass?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Wait, Masterclass, that app thing?
Oh, the app. Yeah, I've heard of the app. Yeah.
So I've been subscribed to Masterclass since it came out years back. I thought it was amazing. And Danny Elfman does one. But I'm pretty sure he can write. I'm pretty sure that he could actually old school score, but he does. He has an orchestrator. I think it's Steve Bartek that he's used forever. But, you know, all of these guys, well, now it's so different because you can input it into a computer.
Right.
But, you know, some of this orchestration and stuff, I mean, it's a whole other world unto itself. So, you know, I think, you know, so they get there, and it's just such a huge task.
Right.
You get these huge films and the deadlines and the pressure that are on them and the millions of dollars that they're spending to do these things, you know, you know, recording 60p, like it's got, you know, it's insane. It's nuts. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyways, I don't think that that's probably
like
true.
All true.
Yeah.
I wonder, that's true.
I wonder if it was just like towards the beginning of his career, because when my brother found this out, it was when he started watching the old animated Batman that Danny wrote for. Right. So I wonder if it was just like early 90s. Well, Danny was still figuring it out.
Well, you know what really turned me on to Danny Elfman was I used to watch Oingo Boingo. I mean, Saturday night videos. I mean, like I was, you know, I'm going to totally date myself, but it was like 1983, 1984 when I'd be watching Saturday night videos, you know, in my girlfriend's basement in Delta, you know, in a suburb outside Vancouver, and Oingo Boingo came on. I was like, who is this?
Yeah.
And it was Danny Elfman. So, you know, that's where I first heard about him and started paying attention, and his Pee Wee Herman stuff. And really, so many great music people who were, you know, who've crossed over and gotten into composing lately, you know, and lots of women, you know, lots of great female composers, you know, Hilda, you know, who my agent actually represents, does amazing work. And
what has she done? I don't know if I'm familiar with her.
The Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Chernobyl.
Yeah, didn't she win?
So good.
She won something. I think
she won an Oscar.
I think she won for Joker. No, I think she won for Joker, and she was like the first female.
Probably.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was good music. That movie made me feel things.
Oh, man. Yes. Oh, man. Well, Vincent, thank you so much for doing this. We are so honored to have you. And
it's my pleasure. I'm sorry it took so long to reply. Hopefully you got something you can use there.
Oh, I got so much. And good. We will keep you posted about Lil Sebastian. If you want to send us any voice memos about your feelings about that show.
Lil Sebastian. And I'm going to start listening to your podcast now that I found it. It's so dumb.
Well, thank you so much for giving us
your
time.
Guys.
And you guys have
Give me some music.
Awesome. Oh yeah, I will.
Yes,
I'll email you everything. And thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Well, guys, that was it. I still am reeling over the fact that Madi and I got to talk to him, and he was super amazing. So thanks for listening. If you have any questions that we didn't answer, maybe we can, ask him after the fact if you want to message me any thoughts or questions. But go follow him on Instagram and watch all of his other shows. He's got Grownish coming out, F is for Family, all the other ones that he talked about. Go to his website, check out all of his stuff. He also worked on, we didn't talk about it, but he also works on Transparent as well, that Amazon Prime show. So yeah, thank you, Vincent. We are such huge fans, and hope you stick around for some more episodes later on. But again, thank you, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that mess. Thank you. Bye.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.